Denise Mullen saw her father murdered by the UVF when she was just 4 years old. Now she is a counsellor and has described how the man who killed him then turned on her.
Garfield Beattie sent Denise a letter warning her not to pursue legal action against him or there would be consequences. Just days ago, a judge found Beattie guilty of harassment and branded his behaviour disgusting. Speaking for the first time since the case ended, she's now calling for his licence to be revoked. Sharon O'Neill's report begins with Denise reading part of that letter.
There will be personal consequences for yourself and your immediate family. Therefore, you are being strongly advised to think again and consider the long-term consequences on your own personal health. East Tyrone Ulster Volunteer Force.
Doesn't get easier?
No. Ulster Volunteer Force.
What's that letter done to you?
Broke our hearts. Brought us back to 1st of September 1975. Tortured us.
Garfield Beattie, more than the man behind that letter. He murdered Denise Mullen's father and faces a return to prison.
Between seeing him this on Monday there in court, and it has just been dreadful. Whenever the PPS barrister said that neither the two PSNI officers were present, Beattie, oh my gosh, he started laughing and clapping his hands like that through his hands and looking down at me like that there, a big grin on him. And that has been absolutely gut-wrenching for me. I've had a couple of nights now of waking up, seeing that individual doing that. That is just an evil, evil person.
And what do you think, Olive, of what Beattie did?
I would say he's nearly proud of what he does. He would be feeling very satisfied with himself.
Dennis and Olive Mullen were devoted to each other, but that loving union was shattered by Beattie and other members of the UVF's notorious Glenanne Gang. The SDLP activist shot dead at his home in Moy, County Armagh.
He wouldn't answer, he just lifeless.
I got out through a kitchen window because I remember thinking this house is surrounded. It'll come in for me. And that feeling was horrific.
So what prompted this dramatic, disturbing development now, some 46 years on? Well, during that time, all Denise Mullen wanted was the truth. A chance encounter with Beattie in the street back in 2019, decades after he was released from jail, led to a meeting at his house to discuss her father's murder. But then he found out she had initiated legal proceedings against him. And that's where the letter comes into play. Now, Beattie accepts it was wrong to use the sign-off East Tyrone UVF. His explanation? Well, he did it all the time, writing Christmas cards in prison.
Did you think the UVF was going to call any moment?
I did. Absolutely. Listen, when you're driving along and you're watching to see if there's anybody moving about, your mirrors become, the wing mirrors and the centre mirror in the car become nearly your lifelines.
All families are looking for truth. That should not be hindered by anybody, and no paramilitary group or anybody purporting to be a paramilitary group should be issuing threats to victims.
Beattie insists this wasn't an act of intimidation. The judge didn't believe a word. That judge will decide in a